Neville Goddard. Whenever I hear this name, I have to smile. And I have to smile because nobody in this world inspired me more on my spiritual journey than Neville Goddard. I've listened to all of his lectures, and I must have listened to Neville Goddard, the Complete Reader, 100 times already, since I've bought it on Audible. And I now also bought the paperback version because I love to just dive into it again, to underline specific sentences and to really think about his words. And when it comes to his words, you really have to, at least sometimes, think twice about them. And sometimes you also have to think 3 times about them. And when you then think about them, then again, you reach the next level with his teachings when you let it sink in and when you allow your subconscious mind to fully understand what this incredible human being is talking about and what he's sharing with the world. And what I want to do within the next couple of weeks and months and maybe even years, I don't know how long it will take me, but what I want to do, at least if I get the feedback from you that you're interested in hearing more about this, I want to share specific sentences with you, ideas, specific lessons and insights that I gather while I'm reading the book again, while I'm listening to the book again, while I'm devouring his Complete Reader again and again. Because I truly believe that in the words of Neville Goddard, there's so much wisdom, so many ideas, so many insights, and so many incredible techniques for your manifestation success that you can use. And you can now already, if you want, send me an email at sebastian@affirmationtomanifestation.com and just let me know if you think that's a good idea or if you don't like the idea at all. Because of course, if let's say my whole audience would tell me, no, please don't do that, I don't want to hear about Neville Goddard, then at some point I would say, yeah, maybe it's not something that interests you. But if you say, yes, I would love to hear more about it, and you might even say, yes, Sebastian, I would actually love to hear your ideas, your insights, your input when it comes to the ideas and the concepts and the insights that Neville Goddard shared with the world. If that's the case, then I'm happy to share more and more about this incredible man and his teachings. And of course, I also want to make it as easy for you as possible to digest this information, and to not only digest it, but to also use it in a very practical sense. I want to make this information that Neville Goddard presented as accessible and as easily understandable as humanly possible. That's my goal with these specific episodes about Neville Goddard. And today I want to talk about a principle, or let's say a little paragraph that I discovered in At Your Command. And I want to read this paragraph to you, and then I want to dive into detail about how you can use this knowledge, this insight to manifest your dream life. And Neville Goddard said, "You do not command things to appear by your words or loud affirmations. Such vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite. The awareness of being is the door through which the manifestation of life passes into the world of form. Consciousness is the resurrecting power." And I want to repeat this again, so listen very carefully and allow the words to have an impact on you and really feel the words that he spoke. "You do not command things to appear by your words or loud affirmations. Such vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite. The awareness of being is the door through which the manifestation of life passes into the world of form. Consciousness is the resurrecting power." So now please allow me to decode these messages, to add my own input, and to make it as easy for you as possible to put this advice into practice and to use it for your manifestation success. Words mean nothing without the emotional charge. Remember what Neville Goddard said. Such vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite. If you just speak the words, but you don't feel them, if you just speak them, but there's no emotional impact, no emotional charge behind these words, then they are just empty words. And this also goes back to the principle that Dr. Joe Dispenza shares in one of the studies that they did, where with just a clear intention, without the elevated emotion, nothing was happening. In this experiment, they were looking at the unwinding process of DNA that they wanted to cause with their thoughts, and then only with their emotions, and then at some point with their thoughts combined with an elevated emotion. And that's when the magic happened. So always remember that words mean nothing without the emotional charge. And that's why if you decide to book a Skype coaching session with me, and you then present your affirmations to me, and you read them like this: I earn X amount of dollars each month. I am rich and wealthy. I love myself. The first thing I say is, burp, let's talk about the emotions. It's all about the emotions. And then when you have the clear intention and you combine them with an elevated emotion, that's when repetition can actually work. But vain repetition can come from a place of belief or hopelessness. And this is something that's important for you to understand. It's not just about using a certain manifestation technique. It's also about becoming aware of what this technique actually does and becoming aware of how you can use this technique to manifest the life you truly want to manifest. Because if you, for example, only repeat an affirmation over and over and over again, but you never feel the emotion behind it, you, for example, say, I earn X amount of dollars each month, without actually feeling how you would feel if that was already your reality, then nothing will happen. And in the worst case, you make things worse and you actually lower your vibration. And Joe Dispenza also talks about that, where he said some people who do this work, they believe less in their future after meditating. But then there are others who believe more in their future after meditating. So it's important for you to observe yourself and your reaction to the world and your reaction to your inner world and how the process of manifesting actually impacts you. Because vain repetition can come from a place of belief or hopelessness. I can, for example, repeat, I am rich and wealthy. I'm so rich and wealthy. I am rich and wealthy. And while I'm repeating these words, I actually feel the emotions behind it. And maybe, just maybe, while I was saying this affirmation, you could feel in my voice that I was smiling, that I was feeling good. And this is the right way of repetition. But what if, for example, I would come from a place of lack? I would come from the lack consciousness instead of the abundance consciousness. And I would repeat, oh, I'm rich and wealthy, I'm rich and wealthy, I'm rich and wealthy. And I would put myself under pressure and I would feel this pressure and I would force myself to say it. And I would say it in a way that communicates to you now that you're listening to this, but also to myself and to my inner being, that I don't feel what I say at all. In fact, it's based on the fear that if I don't say these words, then the things that I want will not come to me. So there's a big difference in that. So always observe the energy that you are in when you are using affirmations, and observe the energy when it comes to how you use these affirmations. Are you really joyful when you say your affirmations? Do you really try to reach for the frequency of what it is that you want to manifest while you speak your affirmations? Or is it just vain repetition that has no effect? Or in the worst case, do you actually feel worse while you're speaking your affirmations? And if that's the case, then you might want to go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/hypnosis so that we together can program your subconscious mind to reach the frequency of what you want to manifest. And by that, you can then become a vibrational match to this new reality. And now let's talk about the sentence where Neville Goddard said, the awareness of being is the door through which the manifestation of life passes into the world of form. Let's talk about that for a moment. If you are aware that you are aware of a certain state and that you are aware of certain thoughts and emotions, then you can direct these thoughts and emotions in the direction where you want them to go. And that's why the awareness of being means that you become what you want to be. You don't just act as if. Yes, in the beginning you might be doing that, but the more you do it, the more you follow this fake it till you make it principle, the more the faking it will become less obvious, and you actually are already in a space where you made it. You feel like you've made it, just like in this Lil Wayne and Kevin Rudolph song, I made it, I made it. So yes, that's how you feel when you allow the awareness of being to guide you, because once you become, then you are automatically a vibrational match to what you want to manifest. When you become love, you can manifest a loving relationship with ease. When you become wealth, when you are the representation of wealth, then wealth can come to you. But in order to get there, of course, you want to manifest every aspect of the law of attraction and every aspect of your own power as a deliberate creator. And if you truly want that, then you might want to go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/11 days and find out more about the 11 Days to Manifestation Mastery program. And you might also realize that the door opens for you when you knock on it repeatedly. I absolutely love these words of Neville Goddard when he said the awareness of being is the door through which the manifestation of life passes into the world of form. And that's why I always use this example in my podcasts and also when I talk to a client one-on-one in a Skype coaching session or when we talk over WhatsApp or whatever messenger and video call app that my client prefers. I'm very flexible about that. The door opens for you when you knock on it repeatedly. I don't want you to put so much pressure on yourself so that you then believe that this door has to open immediately and then your manifestation passes through immediately. That can happen when there's no resistance, but sometimes, just sometimes, you need to knock on that door over and over again. And you do that by repeatedly reaching for the frequency of what you want to manifest, by repeatedly combining the clear intention with the elevated emotion, and by then imagining and feeling into your heart what would it feel like to have what you want, and then in the process ask your heart what the frequency of the thing or the person or the experience that you want to manifest would feel like. And by doing that, you knock on the door over and over again until the divine opens the door, because the first time you might knock on it, you knock very, very gently. You don't really knock hard on it because you have trouble reaching for the frequency, your thoughts distract you left and right, and you're just not practiced enough to reach that frequency. But then the more you practice it, the more you do it, the louder you will knock on the door, and then the door eventually opens. And in order to become, you need to become conscious of who you want to be and eventually of who you are in the eternal now. So what do I mean by that? By that I mean that the journey of becoming leads you from a point of where you are conscious of who you want to be to a point where you already feel as if you were that person, and that's the becoming process. And then you realize that in the eternal now, you are already this person and that you've already reached this frequency. And that's what I mean when I talk about creating from a specific consciousness. If you, for example, create from the consciousness of I'm in love with life, you create a life you love, by definition. If you create from a consciousness of I'm rich and wealthy, you create a rich and wealthy life, by definition. Because by going through this process of becoming conscious of who you want to be, and then eventually being that consciousness and being the representation of that manifestation, that's when you can easily draw it into your life. And I hope that you enjoyed this first episode about the teachings of Neville Goddard, and I'm looking forward to receiving your feedback on it. And I'm also looking forward, I'm really excited about that, to talk more about all the different ideas, insights, and techniques that I learned from Neville Goddard, who had an incredible impact on my life and on my spiritual journey. And I want to briefly mention it again. If you want to find out more about my 11 Days to Manifestation Mastery program that contains a lot of practical exercises, lectures, and hypnosis, you can go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/11 days. And if you want to find out more about the hypnosis sessions I offer, you can go to affirmationtomanifestation.com/hypnosis or click on the second link in the description. And if you enjoyed watching this video, please send out some love to the YouTube universe by giving this video a big thumbs up. And I would also appreciate it if you would leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about my video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to click on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I release a new video for you.